What's going on, everyone? We are back for another edition of the Bleed Los podcast. Carne and Asada, we have a lot to get into. The Dodgers got back on track in San Francisco. The team shined during All-Star Week. And what can we expect for the second half of the season? All that and more coming up next. What's going on, everyone? I am Drea, joined tonight by Anthony. This episode is brought to you by DodgersBeat.com. Stay up to date and in the know with all of the latest and most comprehensive coverage of the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's your one stop for articles, merch, contests, interviews, and more. Never miss a beat and check out DodgersBeat.com. What's going on, Anthony? You had yourself an amazing trip. I cannot wait to hear all about it. So tell us everything.
My All-Star break is over. Thankfully, it's nice to get away for a couple of days and kind of just like pretend like life and like bills and stuff like that don't exist. So I did follow the boys up to San Francisco. First time in the Bay Area since I want to say 2015. So it's been a while since I've been up there, but nothing has changed. It is still very, very cold. That's something that, even though I prepared properly this time, it still caught me very, very off guard. Thankfully, the game I went to was beautiful, beautiful weather. 105 pitch time, so it was very beautiful. Stadium's nice. I got to give a shout out to Giants fans. Like, they made the atmosphere so much, like, I don't want to say, like, it was very welcoming. I didn't feel like I had to, like, look over my back and, like, anything, but, like, it was Giants fans and it was Dodger fans, and like we were all just kind of like chirping each other, but like it never went too far. It was kind of just like friendly banter. That game did end up getting close towards the end, and that ratcheted up a little bit. Thankfully, we pulled out the victory, but overall, I enjoyed my time there. It didn't feel like an away game, which was awesome. It felt like a home game. Shout out to Pantone. They were out there doing their thing. Also, just walking around the city as well, you saw a lot of Dodger blue everywhere. So it didn't feel like we were on the road primarily. So it just felt like another home game. And as well, Giants fans as well, they were kind of like chirping, but like at the same time, it was kind of just fun. Like at the end of the day, baseball is a kid's game. We're arguing over a kid's game. Like what are we doing here in the grand scheme of things? And like I've said before, growing up, the Giants were the team that I always thought like we're chasing them, and now it's kind of reversed itself, like the Giants are chasing us. So overall, I always feel like the Giants-Dodger rivalry will always be number one in the NL West. Like I know the guys down below as the Padres think they're the ones, but no, I always think Giants, Dodgers. There's just that mutual respect between the two of us because we both started from New York and ended up here on the West Coast. So it's an awesome, awesome time.
I was so looking forward to all of your social media drops. I noticed that you were repping the born and raised up there in San Francisco. And yeah, those pictures look so beautiful. And you just were kind of touching all the sites in San Francisco. And I believe that I think one of your texts was like, it looked like Dodgers were representing out there and like the restaurants, the whole area. So that was kind of cool, I'm sure, to see all that. I haven't been out there in a while. You say that you're undefeated in terms of how many Dodger games you've been to or they have won. So what's your record now?
I'm 4-0.
4-0. Okay.
Put to the ultimate test because they were 0-7 going into that game.
Yes,
it was like it was kind of like, all right, well, let's see what happens. Thankfully, we pulled it through. Shout out to Shohei. Completely dominated his 3 innings. And Sheehan right behind him as well, too. They just were completely lights out. Kind of got shaky there towards the end, but they found a way to pull through. So 4-0. I don't have any other games planned to right now. I got to see the promotional giveaway, see where I want to go, and kind of like put it to the test. All right, which one's next? But yeah, right now, currently 4-0. Big win on the road, first road game, so big win on the road for me. But yeah, there was a season like a few years ago, I think it was 2018, where like I went to like 6-7 games and I only won one. So just the oddities of baseball. So, but that 2018 season was a very, very strange season. So I don't blame it. But right now, 4-0. Like, I don't want to jinx it, but yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have producer Roger take up a collection to get you to go to all the games, so that way we can send you everything from this point out. But yeah, we're still in a very good position. I think that Dodgers fans calmed down a lot after we won those last two in San Francisco. But yeah, it was getting a little bit scary there. We did not want to go into the All-Star break down, 9 games on a 9-game losing streak and losing 3 series in a row, getting swept. That is not comfortable. But I have yet to see Shohei pitch, and I don't know if that was like. I'm looking forward to the day that comes. You've got to see it now. Is it as surreal in person as it looks on television?
Yeah, because when he makes that walk to the bullpen, it's like so like surreal because he's just walking and like he's not rushed. He's going at his own pace.
Mhm.
He's warming up, and you can see him like he's in his own like mental zone. And then like something just clicks mentally when like he gets the ball and he starts warming up at the rubber, like it's go time. And like that first inning, he just completely just shoved and struck out the side. I'm like, whoa. Seeing it in person, because I have seen him pitch before, but obviously I've never been there like in the stadium. So I wanted to see like how he handled himself, how he handled the pitch clock, et cetera, et cetera. And you would have thought he's been pitching forever, basically.
Mm.
And that was the most impressive part. Just he was like making guys look foolish, completely foolish up there. So
Mhm.
very excited that he got through 3 innings.
Yeah.
Again, I hate that I'm going to sound like a hypocrite because I tell people you kind of slow your roll with Shohei, but I kind of wish he went out there for one more. But Sheehan kind of like proved me wrong. He went out there and dominated as well too, so I'm giving some love there. But overall, I was left very, very impressed with Shohei's outing. I want to see if he can keep going. I know he had a little bit of a rough stretch there at the plate batting, but I think it's going to
Mm.
come and go. As long as he's performing pitching wise, I think the boys are going to back him up offensively. So.
That's just so exciting. I mean, to hear that he truly, he clocks in at the locked in factory when he goes to his outings is just kind of something I'm really looking forward to seeing live because I mean, I was just excited thinking of you the whole time you were there going, oh my God, he's probably enjoying this to get to the third inning and actually keep seeing Shohei come back out there. How exciting. It's a treat for Dodger fans. I think you called it that he was gonna hit one into the bay. It was the night before your game,
Yeah, the night before.
right? And that was super exciting because I'm like, you are just a good luck charm. So keep calling your shot because I think that Shohei must be feeling it. So just exciting times. And then there was also something I wanted to talk about because we were kind of back and forth of this guy should be traded, not traded. I don't know, but Conforto seemed to have a pretty good series. What did you think of him?
Oh, he was 3 for 4 at the game I went to. He was basically our only offense
I
apart from
know,
him and
right?
like Freddie Freeman. And like it was funny because like the guys behind us were Dodger fans, and like every time Conforto would come up, they weren't saying nice stuff. I'm not gonna repeat what they're saying, and he kind of
Mm.
like shut them up. He would like get on base, and I'm kind of sitting there as well too. I'm like, man, maybe this guy's actually like figured something out at the plate because he
Yeah.
really was our only offense that game. And then like Akim had that big single, he got thrown out going for two. And then Freddie kind of woke up a little bit too towards the end of that series as well. So I don't
Mhm.
know. I think he kind of might have bought himself a little bit more time. I want to see how he starts, especially against Milwaukee, because Milwaukee's going to be a pivotal series against them. So I want to see how if he could keep building it because he has these stretches where you think, wow, he might be back, and then he'll
Mhm.
slump again. So
Yeah.
it's just the inconsistencies there. So kind of glad he's starting to figure it out. He also had that Friday game. He had that throw in the outfield where he nailed the runner out. That was like the
Right.
perfect throw, basically. It
Perfect
saved the
throw.
run there. And it's funny because like I was like I don't know why we keep starting him, and then he had that throw, and I'm like, well, that's the reason why we keep starting because of his defense. So,
Mm.
but I always feel like if you're not going to be good at the plate, at least provide something defensively, and he did that game. So,
Yeah.
um, I guess we'll wait and see with him. I still don't think he's going to be in the plans long term. Like, I would be surprised if we're sitting here talking about like NLDS and like if he's on the lineup going through. So,
Mm.
but we'll see. Maybe they'll just kind of like write it out and see like where he is. So.
We're gonna know in a few weeks what the plan is. I think that that's probably being shaped up right now because we are, I think, under 2 weeks away from trade deadline. So we're getting really close to what Andrew Friedman is going to do. But yeah, I kind of still am not completely sold on him, but definitely happy that he gave us at least some good defense and offense in San
Yeah.
Francisco. So that was kind of cool. we also wanted to just kind of transition right into the All-Star break, because there was some really fun stuff. Even though we're not playing actual games, our Dodgers represented out in Atlanta, and it was just really cool stuff overall. I didn't think I was going to be as into it as I was, but it really kept me. They kept me entertained, and I liked it. So I kind of started off. I don't know if you caught it, but there was a futures game. Josue de Paula got
Yeah.
MVP, so he's just fun to watch. I don't know if you had a chance to see him in some of his games, but I really enjoy watching when I tune into the minor league games. These guys are going to be studs one day. So liking that. And then there was a draft. It turns out the Dodgers are all in on pitching for the future.
Yeah.
14 pitchers. And then one other cool thing before we get into the Derby is that Dino Bell's son Brady did get drafted by those
Yeah, I
Brewers,
saw that.
those pesky Brewers. But yeah, so congratulations to Brady. He's going to be going into their system. And then I just kind of want to get your thoughts on those two things. And then, of course, the Derby. I really enjoyed it this year. I enjoyed
Yeah.
the spin off. Is this something we need to implement? I kind of like it a little bit. So, what did you think about just before the game, just prior to the game, those events?
So I'm gonna start with the futures game. I did
Yeah,
see a little bit of it. Being on the road, it was kind of hard
yeah,
keeping up with it, but I did see a little bit. I'm happy for those guys. It's kind of like the first like big stage to kind of show out who you are. Like you're kind of just
yeah,
a name on paper. Uh, Unfortunately, a lot of Dodger fans don't have the opportunity to watch minor league games, so you're kind of just. I hate to say it, but you're just a name, and then now you perform on a stage as big as this, the futures game. You kind of put yourself on the map a little bit. I hate to bring it up, but that I go back to the Dodger All Star game that was here a couple years ago, and you had
Miller,
Miller. It was what was his name?
Diego Cartaya,
Diego Cartaya, and then Miguel
Vargas.
Vargas. Yeah, there you go. So that was
Yeah,
kind of like the first like introduction to those guys, at least for most Dodger fans, and I
right.
feel like Zaire Hope and Josue de Paula as well as kind of their first introduction. I know they get introduced like in spring training, but a lot's going on in spring training. It's kind of
Yeah,
hard to keep up, and it's kind of more just for the show and kind of go hang out. You're not really paying attention. You're not really like living and dying by the result of a spring training game. You kind of just want to see the guys get their work in and stuff like
mhm,
that. So it's kind of like a nice little introduction for them. And then for the guys who got drafted, congratulations. It's a very big step in their careers.
cool.
We all hope that you end up like pitching for us or playing
Yes.
for us, but like the nature of this business, like we don't know if like this is the start of your career, or you're gonna start it with us, or you're gonna go somewhere else. So overall, just happy for those guys. It's a lot of work that they put in, a lot of hours in the gym, and probably they've been dreaming of this their whole life. Probably not necessarily being drafted by us, but drafted in general to MLB. So we'll see how they do and like how they progress. Like we've had a bunch of guys that we've drafted. Clayton Kershaw, perfect example.
Mm,
Uh, Guy who was a high schooler and who's become a legend for us. So
right.
I wish him the best. Same for Dino's son. Unfortunately, not starting his career for us, but you never know. Maybe down the line, if he does make it, he'll be a Dodger. So again, congratulations to those guys. And the home run derby has always been something that I've loved growing up. It was like must see TV. Regardless, I always go back to that home run derby in New York where Josh Hamilton was just going crazy. I think that's
Mhm,
the first one that comes to mind when I think of
right.
it. And most recently, last year actually I had no interest in watching it, but Teoscar was in it. I'm like, all right, I'll watch it because Teoscar's in it. But like, Dodgers don't really fare well in the home run derby, so I'm like, I'll just stick around to see like how he does, and he ended up winning the whole thing. So this year I was kind of like, all right, let's see what happens. So I love the home run derby. I think every kid growing up wishes to like participate in the home run derby, even if it's like little league and stuff like that. So the home run derby for me is always must watch. We did
Mhm,
have O'Neill Cruz, former Dodger. Like I said, you might be built up through our system, but you'll thrive somewhere else. So I was kind of happy to see him go and kind of shine. And a big dumper, Cal Raleigh from
right.
Seattle. I actually love his game. He's kind of like I feel bad for Will Smith because like I feel like every year there's like a catcher that kind of just does more than him. Like he kind of just like snake
Mhm.
bitten a little bit. But yeah, Cal Raleigh, I can't hate him. I love the Mariners. I love watching them play. So I was kind of excited to see him like advance and win the whole thing. And but yeah, the home run derby for me is always must watch TV.
I think so. I was like kind of glued into the whole it's a little bit long, but I really like the way they ended it. It was kind of in a text chain, like what, because I didn't know initially what happens if it's tied at the end. Because the Padres and the Giants gave up runs. The pitchers did.
Yeah,
I didn't think they were going to do, but they did it. So hey, kind of gave me a chuckle like Dave Roberts. But either way, we were tied at the end, and so it is a swing off. Lo and behold, and that was kind of cool. And what I liked about it in particular was that not only was it cool the way it ended with Schwarber, I like that it wasn't the typical people you would think would be in a swing off. Because
yeah,
if Shohei and Judge and Soda, whoever the big heavy hitters in the league would have been there, more than likely they would have been chosen. But I believe that it was like that was already predetermined that they weren't going to be there at the end, and so I kind of like that we got to see other players in the league who are, we know their names, we know they're great, but highlighted because that Judge and Otani get a lot of the press. And I
yeah.
really like that we got to see other people be a part of that. I love that the NL won, but what did you think about, like, is the swing off something that is only good for the All-Star game? Should we see it, or is it something that maybe we could see in the regular season? Should it be implemented? I think a lot of people enjoyed it.
What's funny is just going through like social media. Justin Turner actually suggested this like a few years
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
I saw the article clip that I think Courtney, his wife, tweeted it
Yeah.
out.
You
Uh,
did.
I don't know if it's gonna be a regular season thing because a lot of people were very like down on the runner on second base to start extra innings, and like I was always pro like, what are we doing here? Like, there's no need to like burn arms and go through like 17 innings and stuff like that. Like, the sooner the game is over, like the sooner the better for both sides, basically. The swing off might be a hard sell. I think it might just be a thing for the All Star game at least to start. But if you
Okay.
get enough people behind it, enough momentum, like who would have thought? We might talk about it later. The ABS system,
Yeah.
if that's going to be implemented. So like, I think the best place to like test this out is going to be in the minor leagues, where people really are not living or dying by results there compared to the major leagues. And if it
Mhm.
works down there, then maybe they'll implement it.
Maybe.
But I think for now,
Mhm.
it's kind of more of an all star thing. And like you said, it gives guys at the end of the All Star game roster, like we know who Otani and Judge. Like I would have loved to see Otani and Judge, but like at the same time, I was glad Shohei was nowhere near the stadium anymore, and he was on his way to like enjoy the rest of his All Star break.
Yeah, already in the
So,
air. Yeah.
but it gives guys who are like lesser known guys who are All Stars a chance to kind of show off who they are. So like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I feel like it's just gonna be an All Star thing, and it's pretty cool. Like the
That's
concept of like, okay,
cool.
you pick your four best, I pick my four best. They get three swings each, and winner takes all. It's a
Yeah.
very cool. It's funny that that's the way Dave Roberts gets his first win as the All Star manager as well too. Is a swing
Swing
off.
off.
I don't think
I
he'll complain or anything, but yeah,
No, I think that it was a cool idea. I didn't expect that we would see something like that, and I was just kind of just excited with every pitch and every home run that we saw, and I love that it ended with, Schwarber getting all of his home runs and the excitement in all the guys' faces. Just even on the AL side, they just loved being a part of it. You saw the whole crowd was hyped. They were all in it. So I thought that was kind of fun, as well. So loving it for the future, where I probably will be very much down the line. But was kind of cool, was at the very end after Cal Raleigh won. Not only did he get his medallion, I think that's something that they would give each year in addition to getting your $1 million and your trophy. They also gave a W. Did you see a WWE style
yeah,
belt?
it's
And
similar.
that's something that I hadn't seen before. And we've been talking about that so much on this show. What would you rather have? If you won the home run derby, would you rather have, if you had to choose, the belt or the medallion? It's kind of cool.
I think people are gonna think I'm crazy, but I'd rather have the belt.
The belt's so cool, right?
The belt's really cool, and like it's such an easier thing to have around the house. Like I don't know where I would keep like that giant medallion. Like I wouldn't want to bring interest to it. I'd probably like just stare at it and like it'd be cool, but like now I would have to think about, all right, like where am I really realistically going to keep this, like stuff like that. But the belt I think is kind of cool. You can like bring it out, you can have
Yeah.
people wear it and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the WWE belt thing is kind of here to stay. They had
Mhm.
Cody Rhodes present him with the trophy or the belt, not trophy. And I feel like it's just going to be a thing to stay. They do it for the World Series, they do it for other various sports. So I feel like it's just going to be a staple from now on. And I don't know. I think if you ask Cal Rayleigh if like, would you rather have the belt or the chain? I think he'd rather say the belt.
Mm.
The chain is just a little bit too flashy for me. I just like I don't do jewelry. I don't have jewelry of my own. I don't even have like a class ring from when I graduated or anything like that. So I'm just not a jewelry guy. But maybe for someone else, like they'll rather have the chain than the belt. Like, but I'm also thinking about like just like where am I gonna wear that outside of my house? Like realistically speaking, like it's just gonna be like a novelty at that point. But yeah, I'd rather have the belt.
It's good for a man cave. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of fun stuff. So I like that they did that. Just always kind of thinking of the little extra things they can do to make it more entertaining for the audience, because I'll talk about numbers in a little bit after we talk about the game, but it looked like it was a very highly watched All-Star Week in for MLB. So that was really exciting. But yeah, I just definitely think that we need to just get right into the game because there was some interesting things that happened. I loved Kirsch. I
Yeah.
loved the way they honored him. I know Freddie was in Atlanta and they gave him his flowers too. You kind of saw a little, take time to acknowledge that he was once theirs, and the crowd loves Freddie there. You can totally tell. But there was something about Kersh's outing and him being mic'd up and looking like he was enjoying it, and the way that that whole thing came together. I just couldn't wait to ask you, what did you think just of that? Those is only 2 outs, but they were some really cool outs. What did you think about that?
First of all, I felt like it was too fast. Yeah, like the 2 outs, like you start getting to
Yeah.
it, and like you realize, wait, it's over. But yeah, I think it was agreed upon beforehand that he was only going to get 2 outs, so like make the best of it. I do think I'm glad that he's starting to embrace like these moments because you don't know if you're gonna ever get him again or not. So it was kind of cool to hear him have that conversation and like ask Smokes like, hey, what you want me to throw
Yeah.
here? Stuff like that. Kind of just let loose. It's an all-star game. It's an exhibition at best. It doesn't determine home field advantage in the World Series like it once did. So it's kind of just cool just to hear like other players have conversations with themselves. I think in the first inning they had Scooble and Rayleigh talking to each other back and forth.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like as a fan, like I like that insight because they start talking about like, oh, 2-2, I threw him a curveball here. I don't know if I should throw a curveball again. And like he's like, oh well, Will wants me to throw another one, and bang, he throws another one. So it's always cool to get that insight because you don't really get that like mind to mind thing. You kind of just like
Mhm.
sit there and watch, and you think like, well, I wonder why he did that. But yeah, I'm kind of glad they gave him his flowers there. Uh,
Mhm.
Again, I'm sad that it was only 2 outs, but I'll take anything at this point. I'd rather have him healthy for the second half than having out there like laboring through an All-Star game. So I'm happy for Kersh, and same with Freddie. You can see it meant a lot to him to be the
Mhm.
starter, especially in his native town of Atlanta. I know he's a LA native, but he grew up there. He was basically raised in Atlanta as an
Yeah.
Atlanta Brave. So I'm also happy he had those moments for himself as well too.
No, I thought it was fun. I really did enjoy the mic being mic'd, and I have to say it. I feel the opposite in the regular season. I know that I guess Apple TV and ESPN and different broadcasts do the whole mic up thing, but I'm not really a fan of it during regular season games. Maybe if they're in the dugout, I'm okay with it, but it really kind of bothers me that I think it can distract them from
Yeah.
the actual game. And there's a debate on whether they should even do it at all. And so it obviously works for All Star, but do you think that this is something that you would like to see in regular games still, or you think that they should just axe it for regular season and keep it just with the All Star?
See, because they do it in spring training too, and I don't mind in spring training because the game
Yeah,
is
it doesn't matter.
basically meaningless at that
Yeah.
point. And I do like the in-game interviews, like when they're like in the dugout and like kind of like interviewing them and stuff like that. I like that, but during the game, even because it's an ESPN, like I just don't like the ESPN broadcast at all. And same with Apple.
Mhm.
Um, Maybe if someone else did it, I would be on board. But at the same time, in the regular season game, it depends on like the matchup. Like if we're playing someone that's like very subpar, then like I don't mind. But like if they're doing this against like the Mets in the middle of like September, I'm probably gonna lose my mind. Like, what are we doing here? Like, we
Yeah.
don't need this content.
No.
Stuff like that. I prefer like the kind of like behind the scenes, like the stuff they get like on backstage or stuff like that, conversations like that. I
Mhm.
prefer that than like just like an interview in the middle of the game, especially like if they're playing defense. That's like the worst time, like to
Yeah.
like interview them. But maybe it'll grow on me. But for now, I'm kind of out. I kind of prefer it like in the All Star game or in spring training. But for right now, in regular season, I'm kind of out on it.
Yeah, I feel the same. Like, I really did enjoy Kersh. I don't think Scooble really was enjoying being mic'd up when he
No.
was throwing to Cal Raleigh, and I can see why. I mean, that's not the time to like when they were kind of focused on getting some of the best hitters in baseball out. You don't really want to have your pitcher and catcher. I don't think those were the two that should have been mic'd up to start the games. They were taking it very seriously. Kershaw's in a little bit of a different place. Kershaw's, yeah, the legacy pick is adorable and it's cute and it's fun and it's wonderful. And I think he absolutely deserved it. But he's at a different place in his career. He doesn't have anything more to prove. And I think he was at that place where he was having a good time with it. But it's a little bit different to start the game off that way on the other side. So I think that there's a time and a place for it. I just don't think it's like universally something that should continue in all cases. It has to be very select and it might work. But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. But I did enjoy Kershaw on the mic. It was really cool to
Yeah.
see him give Will his props because Will is clearly, we got a little glimpse of how much Will is a part of calling these games and how
Yeah.
much he can see everything coming down the pipeline. So I love that part. And in the end, we did win. It was not, we don't win a lot in the NL. The AL tends to dominate the All-Star game. But yeah, those pesky Padres and Giants were the ones who gave up the runs. But overall, it was just a really fun night. I believe the numbers were, gosh, 7.2, if I'm not mistaken, 7.2
Yeah,
million,
roughly around there.
right?
So
Something like
yeah.
that, which is far and away compared to all other All-Star weeks in terms of pro sports, most viewed, even on Fox Sports since the Super Bowl. And it kind of just puts to shame, even though I love football, I love basketball, it puts to shame their All-Star weeks. And I mean, it's clear that people really did enjoy the MLB All-Star Week. And do you think that those other pro sports can take this and some kind of find ways to use this as a model to improve theirs? Because clearly there's a disconnect with people tuning in for NBA and NFL.
Yeah, well, growing up, I used to love the NBA All Star Weekend because it was a very competitive atmosphere. I know they have fun. The Saturday night they had 3 point, the dunk contest, and I still watch that. But now on Sunday when the game's on, it's kind of more just like background noise at this point. It's just because they don't
Mhm.
play hard or defense, and like
Playing
I'm not
harder.
saying you have to give like this like championship level effort, but at least some kind of effort.
Yeah.
The same with football, but football is more of a contact sport, and that kind of makes sense. Like you don't want a guy going out there and just smacking
Mhm.
into someone else and then they get hurt.
Makes sense.
Well, we saw what ended up happening here. Eugenio Suarez took that pitch off his hand. You got to get X-rays
Mm.
in an All-Star game. So guys are kind of out there, kind of like, okay, let's like, we're not gonna go super hard. We're not gonna pretend this is Game 7 of the World Series, but we're also gonna go play hard. Like it's kind of hard not to like. I hate to use the word like half-ass, but like you can't half-ass a baseball game. Like Paul Skeens is throwing 100 miles per hour at you. What are you gonna do? Just sit there and take 3 strikes? No, you're gonna go up there and try to like not foolish at the end of the day. So I think baseball's All Star game is probably number one,
Totally.
and then after that, it's kind of just like up in the air. Like hockey, but I'm not a hockey guy, so I don't watch hockey.
I think
But
they do
yeah,
it anymore. I think hockey like stopped their all-star, if I'm not
you will see that.
yeah,
But
I don't
yeah,
think it was, but yeah, NBA and NFL are just they're at 4.7 million views
yeah,
and
the NBA game is just not watchable.
yeah.
It's just it's yeah, it's just other than it's just like bad. So MLB at this point it's the most watchable All Star game, but again, it's
Yeah,
because guys are out there still kind of trying.
yeah.
Again, it's kind of hard to half-ass a baseball game. You're gonna get hurt if you do it, so might as well just try to give your best, basically.
Yeah, no, kind of like there was speaking of injury, there was almost the injury too. I was the Diamondback, right? Because he got pitched at and hit his
Yeah,
pinky, but luckily he ended up being okay. But I normally don't get to root, and I was really happy that he was okay. I don't normally get to root for Padres and Diamondbacks and Giants, but this was the time I could let my guard down and really kind of root for them in their uniform, and I kind of liked it. I like to see Shohei interacting with Suarez. I don't know if you saw the
yeah,
because
I did.
just ago, right? Shohei and Aaron, we're plunking them, they're plunking us, and we hate them. And it looked like they were ready to like, if we get in an alley, everyone's going to murder each other. And here they are at the All Star game, and you can tell they're you saw Tatis and Freeman. There was a picture with their arm around each other. You have Fernando Tatis saying that in his own way said the best player in baseball is essentially Shohei Ohtani. You have Machado giving Kershaw his props, saying, when he was in LA that he was, Kershaw was just, look up to him. He admired him a lot. You really see that even though we hate the Padres, it was really nice to see that the guys interact with each other. They seem to have a healthy respect for one another. And I'm just wondering, is this rivalry more media based, like heightening the fact that they're against each other? Or are they just all in one big group chat and we're just the ones getting clapping at each other's throats? I mean, how big is the rivalry? And do you think that at the end of the day, all things just get, swept under the rug because these guys all have a respect for one another and we really get to see that shine during the All-Star break? What do you think?
I don't think they're all in one big group chat. I wouldn't say that. Yeah. But I think it is a mutual respect. I think it's more just like fan based and media based. Like these guys, at the end of the day, once they're done playing, they have to go home and live their lives. I don't think they're going to hold a grudge. Maybe if the series is still going on, they'll hold a grudge. But
Yeah.
as soon as the series is over, they got to like flip the switch and focus on whoever the next matchup is. Baseball is not like football where you play Sunday and then you have a whole week basically to get over that game and then you play again. No, you're playing the next day basically. So you have to like just keep going, going, and going. But there is like a mutual respect. Like I've always said, like I've never had like a hatred for Fernando Tatis. I used to think he was going to be the face of baseball before his whole steroid scandal because like he was just like on fire. He was performing, hitting homers, and it was always kind of more like I didn't hate him, but like I hated that he was so good and that he would always kill us. It was almost like it was just like a baseball thing. Machado is a different story. That's just because he played for us. Yeah. And like I always like what angered me the most was when we were in the World Series and he had that interview where he's like, "Oh, hustling is not my cup of tea." It's always just ingrained in my head. I'm like, I really like so I hate him more for that. Like just like you were a Dodger once and like you had a chance to win a World Series. We were 4 wins away and you come out and do that. Then you're the Brewers series before that, you're inciting fights, stuff like that. Just so that was more performance based. So but I think it's more media driven. Like these guys don't hate each other. Like you think if like Kershaw saw Tatis like in the off season, he'd like just throw a punch. No, he'd probably just go up and go, "Oh hey, like what's up?" Stuff like that. So, and like I think this is just more mutual respect. Like these guys are like, at the end of the day, they're old anyway. They're like old guys anyway. Like Freeman's in his 30s, Kershaw's in his 30s, Ohtani just turned 31. Machado's up there. Tatis might be the youngest of all of them. So it's more just like a hatred like on the diamond. Like these guys hate each other on the diamond, but like outside the field, like I don't think they hold those grudges out there.
Yeah, and Mookie has a podcast that he's got to get all these guys on anyway, so he's got to stay friends with them. And I think they all love him anyway. But yeah, I did see, and I don't like Machado, but I will give him props. I did notice that when Kershaw had his final moment right on the mound, and they all came in, which I love. That Dave Roberts kind of semi-stopped the game to give him that moment to here's the ball, let Kershaw have that feeling of kind of similar to the 3,000, but not as huge. But I like that I saw Machado kind of like tap Kershaw in a respectful way. And so even though I do not like the Padres, I can give props to that when I see it. So shout out to just the whole entire week, because I think that it was something that I just, this stuff you don't normally get to see because we're so locked in on the Dodgers, but I really did enjoy watching the other players as well. But that just brings me to kind of like the close of the first half of the season. Dodgers are still, they're 5.5 games up on everyone in the NL West, and they're still pretty much at the top of MLB. Of course, them with the Tigers. And we start games again tomorrow. You had to give a grade to the first half of the season. I know we talked about this kind of like at the the 50 game mark, and we're about a third or fourth of the way in. What grade would you give the Dodgers at this point?
See, I'd give them a solid B, like 85%, like B, just like there. I feel like there's just been too many inconsistencies, especially with our offense, and then like we had so many injuries again that have plagued the first half of the season. So a B is like, because it's very clear like there's work to be done, there's work to be improved on both sides, whether it's on offense or pitching wise. So, but I feel like I'm giving them a B. I might be a harsh grader, but like there's 65 games left in the season, and I kind of like wrote down like my expectation wise. So there's 65 games left.
Okay.
This is me just like throwing a number out. I need at least 40 wins in the second half of the season. that kind of pushes to like 100 wins. If we're really going to be like this team we talked about, like before the season started, we're going to be one of the best. Like we got to kind of prove it here in the second half of the season. Actually, I have a little stat for you. We have the 27th easiest schedule remaining, so that's why I went with 40 wins. I'm like, okay, if we have one of the easiest schedules remaining, like we have to like rack up wins basically. Our hardest game should be our division games, just because I always said you got to throw the record out for division games. Division games will always be hard, regardless if we're the best team of baseball or the worst team of baseball. So 40 wins is kind of the barometer I have for them. Like I need 40 wins this second half of the season. And like, I don't want to give you an A because I want to see what we do in October. A plus is if we get another one of these right here on our fingers at the end of the season. Yeah, A plus. But so yeah, 40 wins is kind of where I had them at for the second half. I'll give them a B. Room to improve.
You're not a hard grader. I grade for a living, and that is a very fair grade. I might have gone a little bit lower. I was between C plus and B minus because I think that they're just, as great as it is, they are not performing consistently enough to their talent level that I think that they can be. And I got to see that in the second half. Right now, we're on a pace for 97 wins, and MLB ranked the Dodgers as third in power rankings as of this morning. Great place to be. Not bad at all. I do think we're capable of 100 wins, but you know that they're not going for that particular number. The goal will always be get into the postseason with the highest, rank possible to try to put us in the best position possible to do well in October. That will always be the goal, is World Series, and that's what the franchise is getting ready for. So I think we're going to be in for a treat. But I know you talked about the NL West a little bit right now, but outside of the NL West teams, who will always be a juggernaut, who do you think is our biggest threat in just all MLB, not just NL, AL? Who is, in general?
All MLB?
Yeah, who's going to be the biggest problem? I know the Brewers just have really great pitching. We're going to see them next.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the Brewers. Who do you think it might be?
See, the first team that came to mind was actually the Cubs. I think the Cubs are really, really good. They got a lot of young talent along mixed with like veterans like Kyle Tucker and JT.
They're good.
And I think they just don't they have zero fear in their heart. Like you saw how they played us to start the year, and like, to me, that's the biggest threat on the NL side. And on the other side, I'd probably throw Detroit up there. And, probably just Detroit. We opened the season up at home against them, and they played us really hard. I remember people were complaining, like, oh, we should be blowing. No, Detroit's a really good team. They were like a game away from making the championship series on the AL side. So I think if I had to rank them, I'd put the Cubs first just because they're on our side of the bracket, and then the Tigers second. Those are the two teams where I'm looking at.
What about the Mets?
I don't know. I have more fear of the Brewers than I do the Mets. I think the Mets have a lot of more issues to clean up within themselves. I feel like last year they just got hot and like ended up making a run to the championship series. But the Brewers, they also have that like a bunch of young talent. I'm going to butcher his name, Mizorowski.
The Miz.
You saw what he did to us. He like had zero fear and like completely just destroyed us. So, and like especially in a 5-game set, like it's so random. That's why I hate the baseball playoffs sometimes. Like a 5-game set is so random. You can have a guy go out there, had a terrible record throughout the regular season, and like all of a sudden turns into like Greg Maddux for a game, basically. So I'd probably put the Brewers on the second side of on the NL side, and like the other teams like Phillies, Padres. Not really. Padres, if they made the championship series and we had to play them, then I'd probably be like, oh, okay, this might go 7 games. Just because, like, there's just so much bad blood there. And, like, they know us well, we know them well kind of deal. And like I've said always, like I always say on it, like divisions, series, opponents, like it doesn't matter what the record is. Like it's going to come down to, like, the very nitty-gritty things. Like it could be like a play here, play there. A decision like Dave makes or Schilt makes on the other side kind of flips the series on a coin. So you really don't know. But if I had to rank them, Cubs, Tigers, and then probably Brewers.
Yeah, whatever we got to do, we got to stay out of the wild card because it's hard enough making it to that 5-game series. I'm going to need extra shots to get through it this coming year because these teams, at the trade deadline are going to be all about what do we have to do to make it over the hump of the Dodgers? And that's what they're going to be thinking about in the next couple of weeks, because there are some teams that are just a hop, skip, and a jump away from doing really well in October. It's not just going to be the Dodgers sailing through. We know that. So I do think we have the pieces to do it. Hopefully they put a couple more, key guys out there for us. But I really know that these teams are coming for blood this year.
Yeah.
And gonna get scary. I think we're gonna be okay, but at the same time, we all know what it's like to go through a series and to just be a little bit off. And all of these Brewers pitchers, it's not just Mizrachi, they all throw heat.
Yeah.
It's just one after another. Just it's a little frightening. So we'll see how we do this coming week. But I think the Dodgers will be a little bit better prepared, so we won't get swept again. At least hope not. But yeah, I think that's a very fair assessment for what's coming up. But I do want to get your take as kind of we transition to pitching a little bit. Tanner Scott. I know. And he's had 7 blown saves, which compared to last year, he only had 3 the whole year, was at a 1.75 ERA. Now the bro has 8 home runs already, and he's at a 4.09 ERA. And I don't feel good when he's walking out. No offense to you, Tanner Scott. I'm sure you're a lovely man, but you scare me. What is his role in the second half? Is he our closer? No, I don't. High leverage, low leverage. What are we going to do? What's your thought?
Man, I think he's losing his closer job, especially if Treinen comes back and he proves that he's healthy. I think Treinen's going to slide into that number 9, our closer role essentially. But yeah, I had absolutely zero faith when I saw him come out of the bullpen. The game I went up to in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he got out of it, but I mean, it's not like he threw strikes. He was throwing a lot of balls too. Like the Giants kind of bailed him out, like swinging some bad pitches. But I just lose. I'm not the only one either, because I heard a bunch of reactions too when they saw him jog out from the bullpen from other Dodger fans. So we're not alone on that. But man, it's just been brutal to watch. And I thought he had figured something out, because he, like, for a stretch there, looked like he went back to his normal self, but I don't know. Maybe it's just going to be like the theme of this season, like just a bunch of inconsistencies from, like, I'm not just going to single him out, because there's been other players as well too who have, like, been inconsistent as well too. So maybe it's just going to be a thing this season. But man, he's starting to give me like Craig Kimbrell like flashbacks a little bit. I know people like to beat up like on Kenley Jansen, but like I have very more like fond, great memories of him. Craig Kimbrell, that one year he was a Dodger, like I actively feared hearing his song like in the 9th inning, because I was like, oh no, this is only going to go one way, and it's going to go to extra innings. And sure enough, yeah, he ended up losing his starter job. Craig did. So maybe that's just the thing with Tanner. Like if he doesn't figure it out soon, and if Treinen proves that he's healthy, it might be just time for him to just sit there and kind of like wait to be called on. It won't probably be the 9th inning. It'd probably be like the 8th inning or the 7th inning.
7th or 8th is what I'm thinking. I definitely fear him coming out. I'm also kind of nervous about Yates. We obviously don't have Phillips coming back. We are kind of hearing maybe Gratterall might be later in the season, but we don't really have a super like confirmed timeline. And then Kopech is going to be out a little bit longer. So we are, according to Ken Rosenthal this morning, in need of bullpen help, possibly getting it from the Orioles. I don't know. Is that I think that's probably the main target. It's what it's sounding like in rumor mill for Dodgers. Could we see Joe Kelly return? Is Honeywell going to make a reemergence? What do you think? Is this our number one target, get bullpen help at this point?
At this point, yeah. Like I've said before, Andrew Friedman's worst nightmare is the bullpen.
Totally.
Getting guys find outs. I don't know if Joe Kelly and Brent Honeywell, the legend, are going to be options, especially this late in the season. I've seen some names thrown around like Griffin Jacks, Duran, Emmanuel Clase, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's going to come down to like, what are those teams asking for? Essentially, are they asking for everything, or they're asking for just essentially?
Yeah.
I kind of have like a feeling that they are going to pull the trigger on someone. I just don't know who, but I do feel like they're going to, and I don't think it's just going to be one arm. I think it's going to be like 1 or 2. I don't know if it'll be like 2 high leverage guys, but like maybe some guy who like can just eat innings, like kind of like Chris Martin did a few years back, which is like a guy who could just throw nasty stuff out the bullpen. Or so I feel like it's going to be 2 arms. I'll say 2 arms just because of the uncertainty of a few guys. Like you said, Grotto is going to come back, but we don't know how he's going to look.
Yeah.
Kopech got hurt again, and then just inconsistencies from Tanner Scott and from Kirby Yates sometimes. So I feel like there's going to be some moves in that bullpen.
There has to be. I mean, there's a formula here that can work, considering that we're probably going to have a little bit of a surplus of starters, and we can kind of move things around to bullpen. We know we might get Roki back. The news is that he'll be back late August, and of course, Snell had looked. He did another outing over in the minors and looked pretty decent. So we're going to probably be seeing him soon. And of course, we have Glasnow back, but Glasnow's kind of like, how long is he going to stay healthy? We're all hoping but that's a little bit tough to say right now. So yeah, if we do get pieces, they're going to ask for the moon, the stars, everything that LA, it's a Dodgers tax. That other teams are going to want everything that we have. Might Outman stay? Might Outman go? He had a really cool game-saving play the other day.
He saved that game.
So did he buy himself time? I don't know, but I think that the next 2 weeks are going to be very interesting. Do you still think we need a bench bat?
It's hard to say because Conforto looks like he's going to get back on track. But again, he can start the second half so cold again. So I still think they're going to trade for a bat off the bench. I love Outman. He did save that game, but he's just such a zero at the plate, basically. And right now at this point, he's kind of just more of a defensive replacement for Teo out in the outfield because his defense is just is awful as well too. So, but I have a few lists of guys that I think if the Dodgers are going to make a move are going to be people that they might offer up. I put Outman down. I put Landon Knack down. I put Bobby Miller down. Just those three names where I would be okay, they kind of reached their peak here with us. Maybe it'd be best if they find a spot somewhere else. I don't see Knack probably making other starts for us unless there's more injuries and stuff like that. Bobby Miller, again, I just hate to give up on him, but he's just been so inconsistent up here and in a AAA as well too, and Outman as well too. I think a change of scenery for him is probably just for the best. I was reading a few articles. They were talking about Kim, and I'm no way. It was immediate no starter for me. They were talking about Josue de Paula. I'm it has to be
untouchable.
Someone I'm getting an all-star or a superstar back basically, and I'm no way. And I don't think Andrew Freeman's gonna just sell the farm unless he feels there's a legitimate chance to repeat here. But I think we're good enough to repeat. It's just the fear of not knowing if these guys are gonna stay healthy for that run is basically clouding our judgment as fans, basically.
We are absolutely good enough to repeat, but that's also providing that our NB3 will come through at the right time because we have the talent. The talent's there. It just isn't gonna, or the bat's gonna go cold in the playoffs. And if Freddie, Mookie, Shohei, Muncy comes back, Teo's Teo, we're golden. Pa has performed, but I think that what we really need to discuss is the one who's been the most solid of all of our position players. And I'm thinking he's kind of doesn't get the credit he deserves sometimes because he just is so quiet. He comes to work, he puts, he does what he does and he goes home, is Will Smith.
Yeah.
Will Smith, our catcher, who I think is the best catcher in baseball, no doubt, is the only player, best in the NL in batting average, the only player in the NL in the 300s. And he may not have the flashy home runs that Cal Raleigh has. He only has 12, but I look at him as the quiet assassin. He does his job. He has not gone more than 3 games without being on base anytime this season. That's only happened twice. So he is getting on base. He's performing. He's hitting. And what I love about Will Smith is that he's had to deal with the most pitchers out of any catcher. He has, because the Dodgers clearly run out every pitcher in the world, and he has to learn them all. He has to understand what their strengths, weakness. He has to know his stuff. That requires a lot of brain power. And so he's cerebral. But is he the one player that we cannot lose? Because remember, he had a second half last year that was a little weaker than his first half. And I'm a little scared that is he going to get tired? Is he going to get fatigued? I mean, what is the best usage for Will Smith in the second half to preserve him, in your opinion?
That's my fear too, because he kind of did fall off a cliff at the second half of last year. But he did find himself in the playoffs, and he had some big hits for us.
Right.
My fear is that it's a shame that Dalton Rushing is kind of struggling a lot at the plate because he actually calls a very good game. at the game that I went to, he was behind the plate for Ohtani and Sheehan, so he called a really good game.
Mhm.
I think it might just be more a mental thing for him. He's also getting adjusted to the first major league season, so if he can provide any kind of offense to kind of like give Will Smith like a day off here or there, like it'd be a big blessing because I'm afraid that we're gonna run Will to the ground. Like he'll
Yeah.
never say that he's tired. Catchers are very prideful. If they could, they would catch all 162 plus playoffs without complaining or anything. So I'm kind of hoping it's like he's kind of just steady. It's like again, he's like Muncy is the same way. He's like that steady presence in the lineup. I wouldn't imagine like where we would be if we lost Smith as well too for a period of time. And like, who's going to pick up the production for both of those guys now?
He can't be. I think that he is just he's what sews it all together. And I'm so impressed with him. And I think because he likes to be under the radar, that's just his personality. He might not get like the accolades that I think he deserves, but this guy is really having an incredible first half to the season, and I just want to see it continue. So just grateful for him, and I'm hoping that they can find the best way to use him for max effectiveness and not let him get run into the ground because he does so much for us back and forth, and it's incredible to really watch. So this shout out to Smith because it's amazing what he does definitely deserve to be an all-star, and in my opinion he's kind of like right up there in MVP talk. He's good, and I just really enjoyed seeing him so far this season. But kind of like just to round out all of our talk, there's some really good things coming up at the stadium. There's some merch that I just kind of wanted to bring up. But before we get to the fun stuff, there's just one little thing I just kind of wanted your opinion on. As of today, a former Dodger was reinstated back into MLB. He was suspended, and although we owe him a great, amount of gratitude for his final out in the 2020 World Series. It turns out, according to his agent, Scott Boras, that Julio Urias is going to be now interested in coming back into MLB. Now, he will not be a Dodger. That's not on the table. I know that for a fact. But do you think that any team will take a chance on Julio Urias based on, the past that, he's had? We can hear.
Yeah, man. See, it's such a like a sensitive subject because domestic violence is such a serious topic to talk about, and I would be remiss if I said like no one's gonna give a chance. But I feel like there's gonna be one team out there.
Mm,
I don't know if it'll be a major league contract. Maybe they like send him down to the minor leagues to see what he has, and like if he does perform, maybe they'll call up. But again, why would a franchise want this like press on them? Basically, the minute you that tweet gets sent out like
mm,
Julio has agreed to terms with blank, whatever that team is, all that negative press is going to be heading towards your way. So I don't know. A lot of teams didn't even take the chance with Trevor Bauer, and that was more
yeah.
serious allegations. And
Mhm.
if they did it to Bauer, I can see them doing the same thing to Urias, even if he's much younger than Bauer. But again, like I just don't see a team willingly wanting to take this bad press, unless it's like just a team like that has no problem with it. But again, you sign him and you like alienate half your fan base because what does it tell to all your women that are fans of your specific franchise? Like, yeah, we'll sign this guy. We don't care about what you think or what he did. And like, there's the video is very very damning. We've all seen the video, so I don't know. I won't say no. For my own personal reasons, I wouldn't sign him as a Dodger. I hope he doesn't have a job here in MLB. But again, money talks. Billionaires are evil people anyway. So it wouldn't surprise me if he's like suiting up for a franchise and pitching against the Dodgers at that point. He'd probably get booed out the stadium by, I
He would.
think, by both anyone that like sees him pitch. I think he'd get booed out the stadium. So, and I don't know if he cares or not. I probably doesn't. But yeah, I don't know. I'd be surprised if someone signs him.
Same, and I don't think it's just women too. Most men that I've talked to are kind of in that same boat of like, this is just not, a name you want in your brand. And so, yes, I'm sure he has, incredible pitching talent still. It's possible. I don't know because I haven't really been following him, but it kind of threw me off a little bit today when I heard how Scott Boras is kind of putting him up there. Like, and it's Scott Boras's job, obviously, to sell his client. But the fact that there's like a full intention to come back kind of left a kind of like a bad taste in my mouth, because I kind of don't want to see that either. So enough of that. We're going to pivot to some other cooler stuff. So it turns out there's going to be some really cool stuff that's happening in the stadium in the coming week to check out. So we'll just start off with we've been talking about murals on this show, loving the murals all around LA. And there's a man named Robert, an artist named Robert Vargas, who has done the Shohei Valenzuela mural that we kind of brought up in a previous show. And it turns out for a bobblehead night that's going to be coming up for Fernando Valenzuela, there's going to be an unveiling of the Fernando Valenzuela bobblehead this coming Saturday. And I believe we discussed it's going to be on Loge level. So very exciting stuff. If you're heading to the stadium, definitely check that out because kind of like the complete, polar opposite of what Julio ended up being, Julio Urias, Fernando, to this day, even past his death, he is such a beloved person for our culture, beloved person, and represented the Dodgers so incredibly well. And I think that the Dodgers owe so much to him for the Chicano fan base and the Mexican American fan base and just Latinos in general that just fell in love with him, and just everyone that goes to the stadium. It's hard not to feel the effects of Fernando to this day. So if you are going to the stadium, definitely check that out. I will be doing that. And then I also heard, and you probably heard this, Anthony, there's going to be a special pitch going out on Wednesday.
Yeah, this
So,
is kind of scary, man.
did you hear about, I guess
Yeah,
no, this is where it gets a little scary. I know AI is taking over, but a robot's going to be pitching. What do you think about that? First pitch, it's from JPL in Pasadena. They're creating a
yeah. It's one of those like weird things like robots are starting to take over. But like, hey, if he throws a perfect strike, can we sign him and like throw him in the bullpen? Like maybe
oh,
he feels
hell
like an inning in relief. But yeah, the whole robot thing and like the AI thing is kind of like
uh-oh.
starting to scare me. So yeah, I probably won't be tuned into. I'll see the clip, but like I probably won't repost it or anything. I'm just
Scary.
freaked out by robots, man. Like I don't know. There's something just freak. There's like so many movies of like where robots take over the world. Like I'm just brainwashed now at this point. Like this
It's a
is like a
little,
bad idea. Like I know it's for fun and stuff like that, but like I'm
but
completely
is
out.
it?
Yeah, like I'm completely out on like a robot throwing it. Like why can't we have the scientists throw out the first pitch? Like does it necessarily have to be the robot?
I don't know. I mean, it really is thinking outside of the box. I give the Dodgers props for that. But yeah, I'm getting a little nervous about how much robots are taking over. If they can do everything, what do we need people for?
Yeah.
That's where it gets a little scary. So that'll be interesting. Probably won't put that on my socials either, but there'll be other fun stuff. But what will be on my socials? Did you catch it? Shohei now, in addition to every other thing he is doing, he's now an author.
Yeah, I
Um,
saw it. Yeah.
and of course, he picks the best topic in the world, his dog, Decoy is I guess from about a year or so ago when Decoy threw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. There is now a children's book that's going to be called Decoy Saves Opening Day, published by the publisher HarperCollins, and you can now get it on pre-sale on either Barnes and Noble, Amazon, you name it. At $21.99, and I just think that that's adorable. Your thoughts on Shohei now, the author?
See, I'm gonna pre-order it now as soon as we're done recording here. I
Yeah.
will read it first, and then I'll decide if I keep it or I give it away to my niece or my younger cousin. I'll probably end up keeping it. But yeah, I think it's a fun little play on it. I remember last year he said that was the most nervous he was for anything because he kind of spent like months kind of training Decoy and like
Yeah.
yeah, it's all fun and dandy, but like what if he didn't like successfully like throw the ball back to him?
Yeah.
Like what if he just like gets stage fright? So yeah, it's a loving like little kids novel that it's funny because I'm gonna buy it and like I'm gonna read it. But yeah, it's kind of like a kind of little play, and like he also had like Shohei loves to like post Decoy a lot. Like today he posted him like at the pool, and like I
And
think
cool.
at one of his all-star social media posts as well, he had Decoy included. So Decoy, I think it's just like the unofficial mascot for us now. Like
So
I
true.
always said, like we were always like our mascot would be like a blue Dodger dog. At this point, it's kind of just Decoy. Decoy is like our unofficial mascot.
And you can tell how proud Shohei is of Decoy. Every little thing Decoy does, I mean, Shohei finds a way to like just the pride you see in his face. And this kind of book is a manifestation of just how much Shohei loves his dog. And I think that a lot of people are dog people. I know, all full disclosure, I'm a huge dog person, and I will be buying that book. I've already saved it in my Amazon, wish list, and it's going to be bought tonight. But definitely check that out if you're in, even if you're not in children's books. I think it's going to be just adorable. The graphics, you see the cover on Shohei's Instagram. It looks super, super cute. So I just think that, it's just a perfect thing to kind of tie in just, Shohei's personal life. And he shows so much of his personality outside of
Yeah,
baseball that, we get so much more than when he was with the Angels. So I just think this is another part of that. And another, while we're on Shohei, he did win an SB last night. If you watch the SBs, and he's considered best MLB player. So congratulations to Shohei.
congratulations. Yeah,
Awesome. I love watching award shows, especially for sports, because I love all sports, and I just that was really fun to see. And then just kind of like Freddie was there. Freddie and his wife Chelsea did go, even though he did not win the award for the best championship performance. There is a documentary tonight on MLB Network. If you have the MLB Network, or you can go back and kind of check it out and repeat. But the documentary is called Driven, and it is about, I guess, kind of like not just highlighting the actual Grand Slam moment, but a lot of things from Freddie's life. They were promoting it during All-Star Week, and I can tell that Freddie, he's an emotional guy, just kind of
yeah,
naturally, but you can tell that making it, and all the Dodgers were interviewed, Dave Roberts, front office, you name it, they were all kind of, I guess, contributors to who Freddie is as a person. And I mean, he's just so likable. How can you hate Freddie Freeman? Even if you're not a Dodger fan, I think he's one of the most universally just liked people. So just excited to see him. I don't know your thoughts on that, but I think, because we've saw the documentary for the World Series, but I kind of like that they're highlighting Freddie just himself. What do you think?
yeah. Actually, I stumbled upon TikTok last night. I'm gonna give a shout out to the page. It's called The Real Dodger Hogs. The clip is
Mhm.
from April 18, 2011. Vince Scully is introducing a local boy out of Medina High School, Freddie Freeman,
Okay.
and it's
Okay.
such like a very like funny and like eerie thing because he's only taken 17 career at bats to the point. And like he's kind of describing like, oh yeah, Freddie's a local kid. He grew up at Medina High School. He's describing how like his dad would leave work and throw BP
Mhm.
to him, like what happened to his mom. And I'm like, wow, this is such an awesome clip. And like I lost
Yeah.
myself watching it. Like I wasn't even paying attention to the gameplay because I was listening to Vin. I was just like I got lost in like the storytelling.
Mm.
And then there's like another clip there as well too on that TikTok page where he actually hits a home run off Kershaw.
Yeah.
Uh, he hits one, and it's funny because he's like, yeah, big Freddie Freeman, because Freddie's a big guy back when he first started as a major
He
league
is.
player
He
compared to
was.
what he is
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
exactly.
And it's funny, like hearing Vin's like, yeah, this is number 5. That's a slugger. And it's funny, like with all the hindsight now, like he hit one similar to like the same place where the World Series home run landed. And in
Mhm.
my head, I was like, oh, Vin, if you knew like what would happen like all these years later, like he would hit one of the biggest like home runs in like Major
Ever
League Baseball.
in baseball.
So it's always cool like seeing like these old clips of like guys where they first started I'm saying Freddie only had 17 career at bats to the point, and like you
Mm.
see like the transgression and the progression to when he was
Mhm.
a Brave. Like I've said, like I remember seeing Atlanta Freddie Freeman, like he scared me everything because I always knew he's gonna get a
Yes.
hit. Like I
Yeah,
didn't care if he was like oh for something, like this guy's gonna go up there and he's gonna get a hit. It doesn't matter if he's looked awful all these, I know he's gonna come up big, and sure enough
he
he would
does.
always come up big.
He's
So vice versa, now that he's a Dodger, I'm loving it because I'm like, oh yeah, Freddie, Mister
that's
like,
right.
so like, it's weird because there's gonna be like I've always said, there's gonna be a generation of like young fans that are not gonna remember Freddie's Atlanta days. They're gonna remember the Dodger days.
It is.
So it's always cool just to see like the transgression and like I saw a small clip like he said like yeah it was kind of hard but like Mookie was that guy who was like hey like I think it was Mookie's second year with us. If I might be wrong on that, but he went up to Freddie and was like, "Hey, like I'm here if you need me. Like I was the new guy. I
Um,
was the new guy here last year, and like I know it's kind of hard. Like you only know one franchise for your whole life, and you switch teams, and like you don't really know what to do. You're trying to fit in. You're trying to like not mess with people's routines, stuff like that. So like I'm here if you need me, and like if you don't need me, that's completely fine." And then Freddie says like, "Yeah, that kind of like." That's the
change.
first relationship I had here on the Dodgers with Mookie because he came up to me and kind of said like, "Hey, like I'm here. Like we're in. If you need me, you need me." And like it kind of just built from there. And like now you see they're both our leaders of the team basically. So it's kind of nice to see like where
Incredible.
he's at. And like I'm actually very excited to see this as soon as we're done because
Me too.
the clips I've been seeing have been like really like emotional and stuff like that. So I'm very like excited to see it.
I am too. I kind of set that as a recording, so I'm gonna definitely check that. I'm gonna buy Shohei's book. I'm gonna watch Freddie Freeman's documentary, and I think it's safe to say that if my life depended on it, and a Dodger had to come up and hit one clutch uh, at bat and they had to hit it and my life would be saved, I probably would pick Freddie Freeman because I trust him. Even though he's had kind of a rough month, at the end of the day, he is still Freddie Freeman. He's one of the best hitters in baseball, if not, arguably who's better than Freddie. We love Shohei. Shohei's amazing. He's a total unicorn, but I just absolutely thank my lucky stars every day that Freddie Freeman is a Dodger. And I also want to make sure before I forget, there is also another piece of really cool merch if you want to get it for another one of our legends. We just had the 3,000th strikeout from Clayton Kershaw, and his wife and him have a foundation called Kershaw's Challenge. And if you want to get the hat, I guess it's a baseball cap that says C3K. And it's really cool. All the proceeds go to Kershaw's benefit Kershaw's Challenge. You can pre-order up until July 28th. So check out kershawschallenge.com and make sure you get that hat because I saw it today. I put it on my socials. It is absolutely it was great. And I think the kids were doing something similar to it when he actually got that 3,000 strikeout. So I'll definitely go into a good cause because not only are Dodgers really good baseball players, they're really good people and they all give back. And that's one way that we can kind of support that. So in all, just all good things, but we definitely want to wrap the show with predictions. We are, as we were alluding to earlier, we're going to see the Brewers next, followed by the Twins. Not so much worried about the Twins. I am worried about the Brewers, but I want to get your take. We're going to be in a homestand for a little bit. Are we going to be able to buy Panda Express for cheap the next meeting? What do you think?
It's funny because my cousin always texts me like, "Did we win today?" And like I have to text her, like, "Yeah, we did." Like you said, I'm more interested in the Brewers series. No disrespect to the Twins, but the Brewers is someone that we might face down the road in October if things go the way we go. I'm not gonna say sweep because but I kind of do want to win two out of the three.
Yes.
2-1 would be my prediction there. I hope they prove me wrong and sweep them, kind of just like revenge for what they did to us up there in Milwaukee. But we had our chances up there and we kind of threw it away, so we can't blame no one but ourselves. And the Twins, man, I'm gonna go because I think Yamamoto and Shohei might pitch that series.
In the
Twin series.
The Twin series, yeah. Okay. Because we're looking at Tyler Glasnow Friday.
Yeah.
Emmett Sheehan on Saturday.
And
Sunday, Kirsch. So you're right. We're going to see Yamamoto and
Shohei plus probably Robleski maybe.
Okay.
So I'm going to say 2-1 as well there too. That Wednesday 1:10 game scares me. Just because it's a 1:10 game. I hate the day games. It's a getaway game anyway, and we're going to Fenway next, so we'll see. But yeah, I'll say 2-1 both series.
Okay. I'm glad to have him back in LA. It's been kind of like a lot of travel, and travel can take its toll on the body, but hopefully our Dodgers rested up during what was a little bit of a break for them, and they got healed and kind of reset their minds because we are in for a wild ride in the next 2-3 months as we get ready for postseason. But I'm real excited for what's coming next. So I'm going to go with you on that. We take 2 out of 3 each time because we just have to. We got to keep up and not let those Padres and Giants catch up to us. I'm not so much worried about the Diamondbacks right now. I should probably knock on wood because you never really know with them, but I really do think that it's going to be a 3-horse race in the NL West. So let's just make sure we send them all our good vibes. But that's it for my notes, unless there's anything you want to add.
No, that's it for me over here. Excited that we get to see the second half of the season. So.
Oh my God, so exciting. So yeah, a lot of great promotions, a lot of great time. We got to get you to as many games as possible because you are the ultimate good luck charm. So definitely got to get there, Anthony. So, but that's going to do it for us on this episode of the Bleed Los podcast. Make sure to check out DodgersBeat.com and the entire Bleed Los network for videos, interviews, behind the scenes, locker room content, you name it. You can find me at on Instagram at Ravine Queen 1958. You can go ahead and find Anthony on X at Anthony Acosta _ and definitely check out all of that great stuff. We'll be posting all of the stuff for the next week until we catch up with you next time. And until next week, go Dodgers.
Go Dodgers.